guys? This is Anthony with another SOTA Street Fighter figure review. This is the round 3 Guile figure. One of my favorite characters and one of my favorite figures. He comes in at about 6.5 inches tall, maybe just a bit over. These are the 6 variants for him. We have the player 1 here, the Stars and Stripes red, white, and blue SDCC exclusive Guile there. The beige, yellowish color one, tan, dark brown, blue, and clear. Now they all have the exact same accessories except for the clear one, of course. His accessories are all clear, not counting the metal dog tags and chain. All the variants, again not counting the clear one, have orangish colored boots, as you can see right there. And otherwise, basically the paint app's the same, just different variations on the color. The brown one has mostly brown camo. The tan yellowish beige one has mostly yellowish camo. The red, white, and blue one, as you can see, has red, white, and blue camo. And the blue one has blue, brown, and tan. The green one has standard, and the clear one has none. Really great figure overall. Lots of great details. Let's take a look at the player 1 version and his accessories for the purpose of this review. And then you'll know all about Guile. He comes with his sonic boom accessories. They snap onto each fist hand. This one goes on the other hand, so we'll go this way. They snap on there. They don't snap on particularly well, though they're usually good enough to stay in place once you finagle it around a little bit. It's just a pressure fit. They're usually okay. You won't have too much trouble. They are translucent blue with a little bit of shading on them, and they're pretty nice. It makes for a nice display. There's one for each hand, obviously. So with that said, he comes with 2 fist hands, as you can see there. 1 thumbs up hand or thumbs down hand. 1 karate chop hand, which I personally think is used like this. So he's got the flat hand and then the hand with the comb in it for his victory pose. He's got his hand on his flat top and he's combing his hair. So that's what I think that's for. I think I'm probably right. And then he has his chain with his dog tags. There's no printing or anything on the dog tag. It's just a little hunk of silver plastic. But the chain is real metal. And it's a nice little touch. So those are all of the accessories, not counting the head, which is right here. He's got the open yelling face, which is okay. I think it looks probably pretty accurate. Maybe a little awkward, a little derpy, but not too bad. So there's that. He's got great detail in the sculpt and in the paint. Same thing for the hair. Great paint job and sculpt work. And then the standard face, which is the one I prefer, looks really good. I don't know what's going on with the lighting, but the lighting's a little off. I don't know what the deal is. But either way, there's his regular face. Really great sculpt and great paint work. Alright, as far as the figure goes, the paint and sculpt work is just phenomenal throughout. There's great shading on all of the musculature. Sometimes you might find one that has a little bit too much of the sunburn, a little bit too much shading going on, but it's not too bad. There's shading throughout the clothes. The details are just really great overall. The sculpt on the clothes, there's lots of wrinkles and things like that. Then the camouflage is actually pretty good. There's a little bit of bleeding here and there. Some of them are a little worse. This one has probably more bleeding than the others. But overall, it's still really good. There's great sculpt work. And like I said, the paint work's good. There's texture in the belt. The boots have phenomenal sculpt work. There's texturing and stitch work and laces and everything. It's just sculpted and painted really, really well. Articulation wise, the head is on a ball peg, so he's got really unlimited range of motion for the most part. There's nothing really too cumbersome about it, so you can really get the head in any pose you want. Same thing with the shoulders, ball disc shoulders. You can't bring the hands too close together like a boxing type of pose, but it's pretty good. It's not terrible, and I think it's good enough. And then he's got the built-in bicep swivel, single jointed elbow, wrist swivel, which doesn't always line up due to the sculpt, so that could be a little bit better, but it's not horrible. And the wrist pivot. He's got an ab crunch, which is really heavily ratcheted. It doesn't go too far back, but it's got pretty good range forward, and it works pretty well throughout, so it looks pretty good. Waist twist, T-jointed ball disc hips, somewhat limited by the sculpt, but it's not too bad. Thigh swivel built in, double jointed knee. He's got a swivel at the top of the boot, the ankle joint, a swivel in the foot, which seems to be stuck right there, but you can see it. And then he's got the toe joint. Bottom of the boots are sculpted. Sometimes Guile's got a little bit of a loose joint problem in his lower body, but they're usually not too bad, and you can usually pose them fairly well. So it's really not too much of a problem, but it is something you might want to look out for if you're buying a loose figure, because you can't look out for it when you're buying a figure that's on the card still. Only so much you can do. But Guile is definitely one of the figures that'll get you involved in the line. If you haven't started yet, pick him up. He's usually fairly cheap, kind of like a Don, and he's a really great first step into the SOTA Street Fighter figures. So there it is, guys. That does it for round 3. Stay tuned for round 4, and then another batch of figures at the end that don't quite fit in anywhere else. Hope you like these reviews. I like doing them, so I'm going to keep finishing them off. And there we go. So stay tuned for all that good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.